Coming up on this episode of In Focus, WAF President Fred Roy recaps the 2011 World Arm Wrestling Championships. The monster himself, Michael Todd, discusses his upcoming match with world champion Andre Pushkar. Bob Brown shares his opinion on the upcoming Vendetta in Vegas. Mr. Arm TV, Gary Roberts, talks about the future of Arm TV. All this, plus the latest skit from the guys at In the Hook, the newest World of Armwrestling.com rankings, and more.
Hi everybody, Happy New Year and welcome to the program. We have a great show for you this month, and once again we have a huge amount of material to cover, so let's jump right in. Up first is this month's feature photo. This pic features Arsen Liliev versus John Brzenk and is from Friendship Night 2 in Istanbul, Turkey. Took place March 13th, 2010. Many thanks to Charlie Manel and the World of Arm Wrestling crew for the photo. If you have a photo that you think would be a great feature photo, send it to us at scottmcguinness@hfx.eastlink.ca. That was a great picture of Arsen and John in battle at Friendship Night 2. Also thanks to Engin Terzi for hosting that in Turkey. Now, according to worldofarmwrestling.com, the world rankings by Engin have been updated. So let's have a look at both the newest worldofarmwrestling.com rankings and the In the Hook rankings. Check them out. Okay, those are the latest rankings from both worldofarmwrestling.com and inthehook.com. Now, if you remember from our last show, I spoke with WAF President Fred Roy while I was at the Worlds in Kazakhstan. Unfortunately, while I was in Kazakhstan, I was not able to get together with Fred at the end of the tournament for a final recap. I did, however, get a chance to speak with him via Skype once we both got home. The video quality is certainly not the greatest, but at least you can hear some of the things he had to say about the tournament and a couple of the new things that are planned upcoming from the WAF. Have a look at that. On the line now is WAF President Fred Roy. Fred, thanks for doing this for us and setting up the Skype.
Well, yeah, thanks for calling and taking you away from your football game.
That's no big. As a matter of fact, while I'm thinking of it, I better turn that TV off. I end up watching the football game. It's a week since the World Championships. We did get a chance to talk briefly while we were over there, and I couldn't connect up with you again. So give us a synopsis for the last couple of days of the tournament, and then your observations overall.
Well, the last couple of days, as you witnessed yourself, that things got a little progressively better. It seemed that our communication between ourselves and the host was finally connecting. We finally got what we were asking for, and the last day was tremendous. So if we'd have had the same stuff available to us on those first couple of days, and it was available to us, but it just they didn't recognize what we were asking for, and I don't know how it all worked out. But anyway, it wasn't there. And so our two first days, they were pretty cumbersome, and I got to give hats off to the hosts for scrambling the way they did, and for the WAF staff for being able to put it all together the way they did.
So great. So overall, you were pleased with the way the tournament came off?
Yeah, we had a lot of countries represented. We had and a lot of competitors, really top quality people again, which is really, really nice. And the overall tournament was really good. There was a little bit of a, I don't know what the heck went on there, but during the time we took off from Canada till the time we got to Kazakhstan, the people that we've been dealing with for the last 4 months were nowhere in sight. So they got replaced somehow, and I still haven't gotten to the bottom of it as to why it happened. Basically what happened is when we got there, we had to put together the whole tournament with the host's cooperation, and the Ministry of Sports was suddenly involved, which they weren't before. So I'm thinking there was something of a conflict that went on there between the original promoter, and then the government thereafter. So to know the exact reasoning as to what went down, I still haven't gotten to the bottom of that, and I'd like to. I'll be talking to an interpreter and trying to find out what's going on, why it went the way it did. Right now, our critics are bashing us pretty good because they figure that we didn't do proper protocol and stuff, but we did the best we could with what we had, and that's all that they can expect of us. When you're given lemons, you make lemons. You don't make some what do you call that? Some to drink. So you can't. It's tough.
Well, you know what? It's really easy for someone on the outside looking in, not knowing what yourself and the staff went through, for them to bash you and say that people were treating it like a vacation and they weren't there to do their jobs and that sort of thing. And I personally would like to thank the WAF and the staff for allowing me unrestricted access backstage. And you know what? The staff really worked their butts off for that whole week.
Yeah, I know they did, and it's quite obvious when you see the work that they did. Like when some of the countries, that's the other problem there too, where we really got buggered around. Is a lot of the countries don't follow proper protocol, and there's a day for registration and there's a day for weigh-ins, and a lot of these countries, especially great big countries, come in with huge teams, and they come in late on the weigh-in day as opposed to the day before on the registration day. So then all of a sudden our people are sitting there working until 3 or 4 in the morning to scramble to try to get all the stuff in. Like a lot of these people, I think, they must think that the names appear magically out of the air to get into the computer, to get into the whole program. And another thing is our critics, especially Mr. Mazarenko, I'll mention his name because he was one of the most vocal critics of it all. He brags about how great an organizer he is. He puts on great tournaments, but nothing to the magnitude of a world championship. So I'd like to see him do the scrambling with what we had and the amount of people that we had to run through there, and it went through relatively pretty good.
For sure, even though day one was a bit of a chore and very, very tiring, but by day number 2, 3, and 4, the staff really had it together and they ran through those classes pretty damn efficiently.
I agree with you 100%. And day 4, by the time I finally got them to understand that they had the technology there, especially in that it was a beautiful arena with all the I don't know how much technology they had. You've seen all the stuff they had in their keyboards, and to me it was I couldn't believe that they didn't have the capability, or so they were telling us, that they didn't have capability to put the flags up in the national anthem as we presented the awards. And we had one of our staff, Matthew, went back asking the same question over and over again, and finally it sunk through that what we needed, and bang, there it was. It was all available to us right there.
Yeah, and Matthew was able to pull through and find all the national anthems and all the flags on their system, and was able to pull it off great. So was it just a little bit of a language barrier? Is that one of the issues we had?
Well, we had really good interpreters. Like the organization, the hosts were just awesome with the volunteers they had and the translators, and like they bent over backwards to try to give us a hand, but they just somehow we just weren't connecting. There was something that we were missing. They were thinking one thing, and we'd ask to do one thing, and they make us do the opposite of what we wanted to do. Whereas if we could have went ahead and did exactly the way we normally operate, it would have went very well. But like I said, hats off to the crew and the host for helping the way they did and putting it all together and having a great tournament.
Yeah, definitely, for sure. So now, you as the WAF president, so now what's your agenda or your schedule, or what is it now you have to work on for the next year?
Well, we've been in communication with Brazil already. We had a previous meeting. There's a couple of items that have come up from the tournament that we're going to try to address. One is the refereeing our refereeing has gotten that we're so good at it that people are complaining that we're too good at it. So we don't want to change that. We want to leave that the way it is, but we want to change some of the other things. I talked with you about using the overhead video camera. I got to talk with all our people first, make sure that it's feasible to do and something that they want to go to, because we don't want to undermine the referees. But you look at all the other major sports; they're all using video playback. It's quick, it's easy, and it doesn't take away from our referees, is what I'm hoping. And we had talked about, we want to try one of the venues that you go to and see how it is going to work out, and see if we can pinpoint those specifics. Like if somebody says that a referee missed an elbow call, or a referee called an elbow call and it shouldn't have, well then we have the capability to go back and they check that within 30 seconds. I mean, that's what we're even going through the whole referee thing that's going on now, with the sheets and going through all that stuff. So.
The whole protest issue. Well, I can tell you this though, since you and I had that conversation, I spoke with Rick Pinkney, and we're going to use a test tournament in January here in Nova Scotia and try it out there. And so Rick and I will be able to prepare the first report for you and let you know how that goes. And I mean, Rick is the highest referee in Canada, so between him and I, we think we can pull this off, and he's all for it, all for trying it anyway to see how it works. And we'll have a report for you before the end of January, so that you and I can hook up sometime in the future, and you get to watch how this actually will work.
Yeah, I'd like to see if it does work, because I think that it would help us a lot. It would expedite the whole tournament and make it flow a lot easier. As you've seen some of the protest matches, they just drag on forever, and then everybody's upset about one thing or another. Where if it was clear cut and you're not a referee all of a sudden, because that's what happens. The referees start feeling like they're under the gun, and
yes.
that's not good. You don't want that either. So if we can come up with a solution that way. The other thing is that the majority of the calls, I'll bet you if we were to take it step by step and get a percentage-wise, it's got to be, I bet you 75 to 80% of the calls are always an elbow call. And a lot of them are very, very close calls. So the other thing that we've talked about and mentioned is the fact that maybe we could go with a redesigned elbow cup that's got just a slight dish to it, so that the elbow coming up like that, that minute shouldn't be a big problem. There's a lot of nice matches that are stopped just right in the midst of this when it happens, and so we want to give that a try and see if it would help. Because what we want is we want to have a quality show for the people and the athletes, and we want it to be fair. If we have a slight rise on a cup and the elbow cup, you can't see the elbow clearing it, then okay, we're gonna say, well, that's cool. If it's above that, then definitely that's a foul, and you can't dispute that. So I've always maintained as a referee, the minute that that elbow comes off your cup, you're reaching for some kind of an advantage, and I'm guilty of it all the time. I'm reaching for this guy because you're for that leverage, and if we allow getting away too much, right now we're at the stage of where before we introduce all the referee training, we're at the other end of the spectrum where the referee is lousy and they're missing this and they're not calling this, and so now we're at the other end where the guys are all very good, the guys that are there, and now they're complaining that they're too good. They're calling everything. They should let things go, and let the matches go. Well, you can't have everything. So we want to try to make it so it's fair to everybody, and that they're still putting on a good show, and we're not interfering with the quality of the sport itself.
Okay, great. So that's you're in contact with the organizers from Brazil, and entertaining the idea of checking out the possibilities of video replay. Anything else on the agenda for the next year?
Yeah, we've got, before we left, there was also a couple of things that we were discussing with some of the people. Some of the countries want us to change the format for the point system. We have the capability of being able to do that over the internet, just to have an electronic meeting, because it's in our constitution that we can do that. So I have to just make a motion for it, present it to our executive, and then see if they'll go for that. So that's something else we'll work on, which will probably happen early in the new year. And then that'll be in effect for next year. And that's the reason we want to do it now, so that's in effect for next year. There's a couple other small items, but I'll look at my notes later on here, and because I have to address the executive committee and all of that as well. So.
Sure.
So, you know, in spite of the critics telling us that we had such a wonderful vacation, I'd like them to walk around our shoes and feel what they, you know, man, we do a lot of work out there and they don't realize it.
No, that's for sure. As I said earlier, it's easy for someone looking from the outside, thinking that they know what's going on, but they weren't up with Lance Walker all through the night printing badges and doing data entry, along with Julie and Christy and the gang doing data entry till 3 and 4 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah, it's a tough work, you know. And you look over the years of the challenges that we faced. We were in Durban in South Africa, and we had a power failure, 12-hour power failure.
Wow.
And we had, and then on top of that, the next morning we get up, we still didn't have power. We had fried our computers because it was a lightning strike. They fried our computers. We called somebody, and they found a computer guy that came, and he looked at our stuff, and he got both our computers up and going. And then the power came back on. Then we went and toured the venue, and the venue wasn't at all like what we had promised. So now we had a double whammy. None of our entries were finished yet because we had no power to do anything with. And plus, we didn't have the venue we wanted. So there was a mass exodus wanting to happen there. So we had to take care of that, and we made it happen. And the tournament turned out really, we had a really big turnout for that one too. It was awesome. England was another problem we had where the venue was so far away from the hotel, and a lot of things that just we had asked for just weren't there. You know, and it's like working in the Stone Age sometimes when you get there, and you're totally relying on the host. And we go a year ahead of time and we tell them all the items, and Lise Blanchard, who runs that for us, she's very, very good at what she does. And she has a list, and she's like a sergeant making sure that all these things are followed. And on the day we left, all of that was taken care of. When we landed in Kazakhstan, not even the hotels were the same when we got there.
Well, no, we pulled up to a totally different hotel than what we thought we were going to stay in.
And a lot of the other countries were surprised by the same thing. And you know, and kudos again to the host. Like they pulled her out of the hat and they put her all together. But nothing was ready to the point of what Lisa thought. She thought she'd get in there, everything would be in place like she had asked, and it wasn't. They just dragged them off, and Mr. Grexler really worked hard with their folks to get us what we needed, and they did. But it was a trying time.
But overall, I mean, as I stated in my show last month, it was, as always, the arm wrestlers put on a great show, and that's really what counts.
That's the bottom line, yeah. So
that's right.
Whatever the other guys want to talk about, yap about, come and walk them out in our shoes, and then we'll see where the critics slide from there.
That's right. Well, listen, Fred, I appreciate you taking a few minutes, and we're getting the Skype thing all hooked up and ready to go, and I appreciate you spending some time with us.
Yeah, this is actually kind of easy. We could do this again.
That's right. And when something comes up, and actually, you know what? When I'll get Rick here, and we'll be able to give you a report video-wise.
Hey, there you go. That'd be good. Yeah, and then
that's right.
I can let you know later on too how that goes with the executive, the changes that were being proposed. We're going to do an electronic meeting, and then we're going to decide and go from there.
Okay, perfect. Well, again, thanks very much for giving us a few minutes of your time, Fred.
Okay, you're very welcome.
Okay, good night now.
Good night, everybody out there.
Okay, thanks. And we're back. That was some great stuff from WAF President Fred Roy. I'd like to give thanks to Fred. He always seems to manage to find some time to do a talk with us, and he never said no every time I've asked him to sit down in front of the camera, or in this case, on the telephone to do a chat. It's always great of Fred to give up some of his time. Now, before we go any further, I have a couple of items I want to bring to your attention. First, I would like to congratulate Josh and Miss Melissa Stark on the birth of their first child. Matthew David Stark was born September 28, 2011 at 7:35 p.m. He weighed 9 pounds, 11.9 ounces, and measured 21 inches long. We here at Armsport Videos and In Focus wish you all the best. Also, a big shout out and congratulations go to Anthony D'Antonio and his new bride, Melissa. AD and Melissa snuck off to St. Lucia and eloped. Wow. Their wedding took place December 10th, 2011. You can check out a short clip from their trip on the Canadian Arm Wrestling message board, Canadian Arm Wrestling Federation message board. Big congrats to AD and Melissa. Okay, up next is our monthly visit with the Ottawa High Hookers as the In the Hook crew present The Beatdown. But first, I have to take a break, so here's a few words from our sponsors. And we're back. Now, as promised, check out The Beatdown. As always, though, I must warn you, this clip is intended for a mature audience only. It contains language that may be offensive to some viewers. You have been warned. Take it away, guys.
When's Devin coming in, Matt Cal?
I don't know, man. He's in a really shitty mood lately.
Is he?
Oh, yeah.
Hey guys, guess what? I don't have a lot of time tonight, so we gotta do this quick. Try to get the fuck out of here, okay? Alright, so what are we doing tonight? Top roll versus hook, right? Yeah. Okay, so you're gonna hook? No, you're gonna top roll, I'm gonna hook, alright? Okay, so alright. Listen, I don't have a lot of time tonight. You're gonna top roll. Okay, I'm gonna hook, ready? And alright. You're gonna top roll, and I'm gonna hook, okay? Okay, you fucking know how to do this. Ready, go. You fucking sack of shit! You fucking piece of shit! We've been working together, how long? I'm fucking sick of this shit. You people make me look like idiots. Hey, you edit that shit, alright? Jerry, you edit that. I gotta get some respect here in Ontario, alright?
Yeah, okay.
And we're back again. As always, the guys have given us another hilarious clip. Thanks to the InTheHook.com and the Ottawa High Hookers. I can't wait to see what they have in store for us for next month's show. Now, as I'm sure most of you know already, in just a couple of weeks, on January 13th, from the Tropicana Hotel and Casino, Arm Fight number 40, Vendetta in Vegas, is going to take place. The main event features Monster Michael Todd and faces off against current WAF World Champion Andre Pushkar for the Super Heavyweight Intercontinental Championship. I recently got a chance to talk with Michael regarding this upcoming match. Have a listen to that conversation.
Okay, on the line with me now, thankfully, is Monster Michael Todd. Michael, how are you doing this morning?
Doing very well, Scott. Nice to be here.
Very good. Thanks for joining us. We really appreciate it. Upcoming, you've got a huge matchup coming up in January with current world champion Andre Pushkar. How do you feel about that matchup before you get there?
Man, that's a strong dude right there. I don't know, dude. I feel really good. I'm every bit as strong today as I was when I pulled Devin. And I'm about 25 pounds lighter, but it's just like 25 pounds less body fat. I actually think my hand and wrist are a little better now than what they were. The deal is, Andre, the good thing is all he wrestles like a very tall individual with the same height. If not, I may be a quarter inch taller than him. You know, and I don't look it because I wrestle lower and he's so tall he gets the table. But I've passed him several times at Worlds and we're the same height. Very similar build, you know, as far as length of arms, size of hands, all that stuff. So I don't think I'm going to have all the, genetic disadvantages I had against Devin. But the deal is, this is one strong dude. I don't think he's stronger than me, but I think his hand and wrist are probably superior. So I'm going to have to get around that and then get him where I want him and just wear him out, because I've got to be able to just withstand his initial explosive hits because he's very explosive. And the guy will pull from any position. I mean, even if his wrist gets buckled or whatever, he just keeps going hard sideways. So you just got to be prepared for that. And it's an honor to pull Andre. This match is supposed to happen 3 or 4 times in the prior, and it just never could negotiate it the right way. And I'm excited about doing this match. I'm looking forward to it.
Oh, and you know what? I think the rest of us are excited to actually get to watch it. Now, as I said in the last show, that every time I see him, he's more and more impressive. But also the key, from what we found out about Monster Michael Todd, is if he stops the match anywhere, it's on. So is that the key for you, just to get him stopped from that initial hit?
Oh yeah. I've got to find a way to just absorb. And I don't know if I want to absorb it. I'm going to try to be aggressive and try to hit with him. You know, I would love for this match, both of us to hit and just end up dead center. Oh, my God, that would be great, because then I'm putting on a show.
Oh, yeah, definitely. The rest of us would love to be able to see that. So you say you're 25 pounds lighter. Is that on purpose?
Well, yeah. I guess people, if they've seen my Facebook, I've started promoting the 90-Day Health and Fitness Challenge through Vitality, called the Body by Body 90-Day Challenge. Basically, I just added 2 of those nutrient-rich meal replacements into my plan every day. And it drastically changed the way my body processes carbs and fats. And I eat with probably more freedom now than I ever have in my career. I mean, meaning I eat pizza and birthday cake and ice cream every weekend, and my body's just leaner, and I'm healthier. I was on blood pressure medicine at 285, 290. I got on blood pressure medicine in like 3 weeks. I feel great. Dude, I mean, I'm 260, but I feel like I'm 220. So,
wow, 260. So you're 260 right now as we speak?
Oh yeah, and about 6.5%, 7% body fat. So my
wow.
body, I've never looked like this. You know, I mean, especially looking like this and being able to eat the way I eat. Like, you know, I went over there to Spain to the Arnold Classic Europe. You know, and they had, you know, me and Arnold did a little intro for the Armwrestling and all that. But I tell people, that was not the highlight of my trip. I mean, I got to eat for 6 days. You know, I never get to go to Europe and enjoy the food. I'm always afraid I'm going to gain 10 or 15 pounds and be sluggish and not feel well and not be able to perform. And, man, I'm happy. Dude, I haven't been happy in a long time. And I think that's going to be a big part of my success in a month. You know, I think I'm just going to go in. I'm going to feel good about myself. I'm going to be healthy. I won't be dieted down. I won't, you know, it's not like in the past, if I wanted to look good and look lean, I had to do restrictions, caloric restrictions. I had to be super tight on my diet, keep my carbs low. Well, that does affect your strength. I mean, you cannot be a strength athlete and have that pretty boy look unless you're just genetically gifted, and that's never been me. And now I kind of got the best of both worlds. I like how I look, I feel good about myself, and I'm really strong.
Outstanding. If you'll be so bold, so how do you think the match is going to go? Do you think it's going to go 6-0 your way, 5-1, 3-3? What do you think?
Okay, if Andre beats me, he'll probably, I mean, if he beats me, he's going to flash me. I mean, okay. And you know, he does have a chance to just smoke me 6-0. I mean, if he's just, I mean, I don't know how strong he is. You know, I mean, who knows? I mean, Devin doesn't know. We don't know, right? Devin hasn't pulled him. I haven't pulled him. Now some Plickoff's pulled him. But some Plickoff's got that huge hand that's just hard to get around, right? So maybe that's a reason why Pushkar, you know, isn't as successful with him. I don't know. I believe, okay, as soon as I stop the match, I win that match and every match after that. So if I stop in the first match, I win 6-0. If I stop in the second match, I win 5-1, and so on. Because there'll be a shift. As soon as that match stops, there's going to be a shift in momentum. Because I will sit there and just bleed that dude. The first time I stop him, I will not try to pin him for at least a minute. I will wear that dude's arm out so much. Until then, you know, I mean, that's what I'm saying now, dude. People think I'm stupid, right? Because they don't. Oh, you work out all the time. Yeah, I work out 5 minutes a day. Now I have a rope pulling machine that I do at least 15 minutes a day on. That's what transformed my arm wrestling to where, I mean, and this isn't arrogance. I honestly think in the last year I've made more gains than anybody else at the elite level. Which, you know, I've been doing this 20 years. How do you make gains after 20 years? Well, I injured my left arm. My left arm exploded, you know. So I couldn't grab a hold of that pad with that left arm and pull, so I was forced into hook and shoulder press and all that. So I had to start pushing off. And it caused me to start rotating out, using my lat, becoming a more complete arm wrestler. And yeah, dude, I'm ready. I feel really good as far as the match with Andre goes. I think I've got every bit as much power as he does. I just got to overcome that clamping. I mean, he clamps your hand hard. You can see it in the setup. You know, and you know, I plan I don't know, man. I think I've got a very good chance. I really do. And the thing is, and I don't know how many people have put this into perspective, but let's say I beat Pushkar in a month. I would have gotten the win on some play calls. I would have beaten Evan twice and beaten Pushkar in a 10-month period. I think I'll just quit.
That's pretty impressive.
You know what I'm saying? At that point, I might as well quit.
Yeah, but you won't. You'll be on to the next challenge, I would assume.
Well, yeah, but who is it? It's Dennis in a Supermax, and then it's Devin again.
Right.
I was telling Neil the other day, like, Neil's like, please don't lose this match, right? You know, he doesn't want me to lose. And hell, I don't want to lose. I hate losing. Losing sucks. But I was telling him, I was like, dude, I can lose, and it probably helps my career. Because right now, he's having a very hard time finding me matches. You know what I'm saying? You know, and let me beat Pushkar. Well, there's only 2 other people. You know what I'm saying? Now, I'm sure Tim wants another crack at me, but it's going to go the same way it did last time, and then he's going to bitch about how I did it. And Tim's my boy. I like Tim. But all that shit on YouTube get on my nerves. I don't know, man. Seriously, if you beat Andre Pushkar, I'd love to pull Fareed Usman off. But, I'm watching the World, and I'm thinking, man, I'd love to pull Norman Thompson. I'd love to pull Terry Takarev. I'd love to pull Ivan Matashiko. Those guys are not going to pull me if I beat Pushkar.
No, chances are you're probably right.
No, I'm right now, I'm building $1 million business with my talent. So if I can take a little time away from arm wrestling because nobody wants to pull me, I'm cool with that too. You know, it's all good, man. I'm excited about it, and I'm gonna be honest, it hasn't really been my priority. And most people think, oh, you're pulling Pushkar, you're pulling the Tropicana Vegas, and you know, I've been getting a lot of people calling Tanya and saying, hey, how's Michael's training going? Hell, I don't know if he's training. You know, I'm out there, I'm doing my 5 minutes a day. You know, I'm out there pumping 5 minutes, hard 5 minutes. And that's what I was talking about a while ago. Is I train for 5 minutes a day. But it's the hardest 5 minutes you ever seen anybody work out. You just, finish the workout or you pass out. Now, what does that do for me? That means when that match stops, I'm winning. Because I've already trained harder than you. You can't put the amount of stress on my arm than what I've already done in training, and I can go to 100% of my maximum for 5 minutes. Because I do it 5 days a week. So when the match stops, I'm going to win.
Well, that's what Bob Brown and I talked about this a bit earlier, and that's what we thought the intangible was. If the match stops, Andre could be in trouble, and the heart of Michael Todd has never been in question, that's for sure.
No. But I feel good. I actually had a practice. This is what's funny. Since I pulled Devin, I've had 2 arm wrestling practice. Like I got on the table twice for practice, and I pulled in Spain. I don't arm wrestle. I lift weights, and then I arm wrestle when it's time to arm wrestle. So I got on the table Sunday just to see, kind of see where I was, and I'm feeling good. My hand and wrist are solid. My rotation's strong. I think my hook's as good as ever. I just got to stop him, dude. I got to stop that aggressive, high hands, hard side pressure. And I don't think people give him as much credit for being as versatile an arm wrestler as he is. People think he's just brute strength. But, I remember the Nimrod Cup when Brzezinski hooked him, and then dude just rolled him right out of the hook in the top rope because Brzezinski was kind of sat in that hook, and he was trying to think while he was doing it. He made a little quick mental mistake, and Pushkar just rolled his hand right out and folded him over. So, he's a complete arm wrestler. So, plus, you saw how he destroyed the WAF world.
Yes.
Destroyed. That was not good for me to watch, actually. I didn't like saying that. I was hoping it would have been a little tougher. And then I think they were talking about some tech injury. Apparently that shit didn't affect me. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That's some bullshit right there. But
he was very impressive at the WAF Worlds this year. That's for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, listen, I appreciate you taking a few minutes to talk with us. All the best to you next month.
Thanks a lot, man. Are you gonna be there?
I don't think I will be.
Okay, cool. Yeah.
But sorry, go ahead.
No, I think it's just gonna be a good match. I think the fans want to see it. I think it's one of those. It's just one of those things to legitimize that I am where I'm at. Because people are always gonna keep questioning me because I'm a bigger crazy George. Or I'm one of the hell with that. I'm gonna show 6 different ways to beat Andre Pushkar.
There you go.
Yeah.
Okay, Michael, thanks again for taking a few minutes to talk to us.
All right, buddy, be good.
All right, take care.
Okay, thanks to Michael Todd for sharing his thoughts with us. And you know what? The rest of that card looks pretty damn good, too. And for thoughts on the rest of the event, I called up Bob Brown and got his opinions. Let's have a listen to what Bob thinks about the whole card.
Good afternoon, Mr. Brown. How are you?
I'm doing well. Just finishing up at the gym.
Perfect thing. Listen, thanks for joining us on In Focus, and we'll get right into it if you don't mind.
All righty. I'm hoping, I'm driving right at the moment. I'm hoping I don't go through any kind of bad cell spot or anything.
Okay. Well, you know what? We'll just make the best of it if we can.
Good.
Let me set the stage. January 13th, 2012, at the Tropicana Hotel and Casino in Las Vegas, Nevada. Arm fight number 40, Vendetta in Vegas. As far as I know, you're going to be in attendance for this, are you not?
I will be front row center.
Sweet. Now, who are you going with? You going with your wife Tracy, or you're heading with John Brezink, or what are you doing?
Well, actually, it's kind of funny. I don't know if you're aware, I lost a bet to John when Michael Todd pulled Devin Lorette, so I owe him a Vegas weekend, including dinner. So this is part of paying it off. So, John,
I was not aware.
John, myself, Tracy, Renee, we're all going down. I owe him a big fancy steak dinner. And then, of course, Todd Hutchins, his wife Allie, I think, you know, kids and brothers are coming. So it's going to be quite the party and quite the expensive dinner.
Is it ever? Okay.
Yeah.
I'm going to start, well, and the list here I'm looking at online as we speak. Kazimierat Zolov from Russia versus Jerry Cataret from the USA. What are your thoughts on that matchup?
I think this is very exciting because I have always loved the little guy against the big guy, and at the end of the day, Zolov is going to win this, in my opinion. We just saw in Zloty that I don't think Jerry can press him down, which is Jerry's, you know, bread and butter. And so I think Zolov's going to win. The reality is even if he can press him down, the recuperative factor, I mean, Jerry will kill himself in the first match and never recuperate, where I think Zolov, you know, he's young. He'll recuperate real quick. I don't think...
Well, I mean,
Go ahead.
Sorry, Bob. Which is very true. Jerry was never known for a lot of stamina, that's for sure.
Right. And you know, some people will say, well, you know, it was in the overall, and Jerry was tired in Zloty, and, you know, I watched all of Zloty, and, you know, by the time Jerry pulled Zolov, I don't think he would have been that tired, and quite frankly, Zolov had just had, you know, 100% redlining hook match with Babayev just a few minutes before his match with Zolov, or with his match with Jerry, and he stopped him in a hook anyway, you know, and brought him over and then rolled his wrist out. I just really believe he can do that again and again. You know, I mean, I've always thought that for 30 years, dominated the sport, and if there's one man that is just overwhelmingly dominating the sport, then the sport's not that big. And now we're starting to see what, you know, is capable when someone has spent a lifetime specifically training for this sport. I mean, I've arm wrestled Zolov's dad in Russia back in '94.
Wow.
You know, and his uncle in '94, Kazakh and Mirabak Zolov, are his dad and his uncle.
Really? Okay.
You know, so, I mean, I just think that the human arm can get crazy strong. People like Brezink, you know, are going to be the norm. I mean, that'll be what it takes to be a world champ. And we're seeing that today with Babayevs and Lilievs and Zolovs. And people will say, yeah, performance-enhancing drugs. And maybe so. I really don't know. But still, that is unbelievable power for some people, even with performance-enhancing drugs.
That's for sure. So, okay, before we move on to our next matchup, what do you think the score between Zolov and Cataret is going to be?
It's either going to be 6-0 Zolov or 5-1 Zolov. If Jerry can beat him in the first match, maybe, but after that, he's too tired.
Okay. I honestly think that Jerry can pull off more than one win. I think Jerry for sure can get two. After that, I think stamina is going to play a huge factor. So
Right.
I'd have to lean the same way you are with Zolov taking that one.
Right.
Onto our next matchup. Stoyan Golomanov from Bulgaria versus Todd Hutchings from the USA. Correct me if I'm wrong. Is Todd not out there training with you guys out in Utah now?
Todd will be at my house in about 20 minutes to start
Okay.
training. Yes, he's been out here for a little over a year now. And, you know, I asked him, our arm wrestling practice where we actually arm wrestle is on Thursdays. And last Thursday I asked him, I said, do you think you're as strong now as you were when you got wins on Brzezinski and Bass and Cleve Dean and, Dave Randall? He thinks he is stronger now.
Really? Okay.
And because what's interesting is out here, we arm wrestle. Our top roll out here is different than your standard posting top roll in the East Coast. Your Dave Patton type of top roll.
Right.
And which is what I grew up on. Well, we've been teaching him how to do what it's funny, he refers to it as the Utah top roll. It's nothing more than a full hand top roll like John has done, and he's gotten quite strong at it. On top of his hook is, of course, just freaky, crazy strong.
Okay, well, let me ask you this then, since you have a little bit of first-hand knowledge. Are we going to see the Todd Hutchings from a couple of years ago when he was at the top of his game, or are we going to see the Todd Hutchings that we've seen as late? I'm not saying he was bad or anything, but not as good as he was a couple of years ago. What do you think?
You're going to see him at the top of his game. The only reason...
Good.
Yeah, the only reason people think he's not at the top of his game today is because of one match at a local tournament here in Idaho against his own training partner. And people just don't know the story behind that match. I don't need to get into the story. Let me just tell you, if there was money on the line, Todd would have beat him 10-0 in flashing style.
Okay, all right. So what do you think the score is going to be between Golomanov and Todd Hutchings then?
This one is interesting because I think Todd will put him in a hook and crush him. But I also believe that generally when you got a top roller and a hooker, the first thing to get tired is the hooker's hand. And when that gets tired, it goes into the top roller's world. But Todd has proven time and time again he can pull without his hand. So even if he loses his hand, his side pressure is still unbelievable. I think if Todd wants to win 6-0, he's going to win 6-0. I honestly believe that if Todd gets up 4-0, Todd's going to try to top roll him.
Oh, really?
Just because he would have already won by then, and then he just wants to see. His top roll's getting very good. Do I honestly think he can out-top roll Stoyan fresh for fresh? No. But once Stoyan's got the edge knocked off of him, then, yeah, maybe. So I'm going 6-0 on that one.
6-0 for Todd. Okay. Moving on to the next match, we have Arsen Liliev and Richard Lupkis.
Okay. This match is all about how fast can Arsen hit versus how strong is Lupke's hand.
Yeah.
And Lupke's hand is unbelievable. I compare this match to like when I see Arsen go against Simplinkov. Arsen has whacked Simplinkov to within an inch of the pad, and then Simplinkov curls him into a hook and then can sit there and look at him. I think that's what's going to happen here. I'm going to say the first match Arsen wins, because even though I've talked to Richard and I've tried to express to him how hard he hits and how strong this 200-pound man is, sometimes things just don't sink in until you've felt it. You know?
Yeah, you're right about that. Yeah.
And I mean, John, the first match when John pulled Arsen, John got crushed by Arsen, and then John said, "Oh boy, here we go." I think that I'm going to say the first match Arsen's going to crush him, Richard, and Richard's going to go, "Oh boy, here we go," and then he's going to beat him the next few times, and it's a question of when his hand tires out. And so I think that one is going to be the first match to Arson, the next 3 or 4 to Richard, and then after that I'm going back to Arson again. So I'm going to go 4-2 Richard.
Okay. And I saw Arson pull just a week ago at the Worlds while I was in Kazakhstan, and I tell you what, he was as impressive as ever.
Yeah, you know, in his own weight class, I think he could wake up out of a dead sleep and just beat anybody there at the World.
I think you're right.
You know?
I think you're right.
So I always love when people say, "Oh, this guy is on fire. He can't be beat. He looked so impressive at this tournament." And then it's like, well, who did he really arm wrestle? Now, granted, at the World Championships, Arson arm wrestled some absolute incredible arm wrestlers. But when you compare the 198-pound class that Arson was in to Richard Lucky's, Denison Plinkoff, John Berzin, you know, the monsters, Devin Lorette, the monsters.
Yeah.
Though everyone else in that class doesn't compare at all. Only Arson compares.
No, that's right.
So
and finally, sorry, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
I was going to say, and finally, speaking of monsters, we have for the Intercontinental Championship title, Andrei Pushkar from the Ukraine and Monster Michael Todd.
Oh, the last time I
tell you what, having watched Pushkar for the 2 days and him lining up against Ferit Osmanli from Turkey and some of the other monsters in that class, Pushkar impresses me more every time I see him, and he's amazing.
I agree. I agree. You know, last time I bet on Michael Todd, and I'm about to buy everybody dinner on it. And you know, this is like, you know, a battle of who I think is the stronger arm wrestler, which is Pushkar, versus who has the best endurance over 6 rounds, which I think is Michael Todd. So I think Pushkar wins all the beginning matches. It's just a question of when does Pushkar get tired? Yeah. And I really don't know, you know, when that's going to happen. I've in the past I've said Michael's going to win 4-2 because Pushkar's going to get tired after 2 matches. He might just crush him. I think if Michael is smart and can purposely mess with his grip and screw around on the setup to try to burn the edge off of Andre during the setups of the first couple of matches, that in itself, you know, might pump him up enough for Michael to stop him. Because the second Michael stops him once, I think it's over. Michael win all the rest of the matches. But that, I don't know. I'll say 3-3 at this point, because you're right. Pushkar is the total package. I mean, I think Pushkar, I would say the exact same circumstances between Pushkar and Devin Lorette.
Yeah.
Pushkar will crush Devin the first match. It's just a question of when does the endurance kick in. The difference between Devin Lorette and Michael Todd, at least that I've seen with my own eyes, is Devin Lorette is equally as intelligent on the table as he is strong. He will mess with his grip till the cows come home.
For sure.
Yeah. So,
the only, you know what, I think the intangible here is the heart of Michael Todd. Michael Todd will not quit.
No. He zero, absolute zero quit. Exactly. You know.
And I think you're going to have to break his arm to make him stop arm wrestling.
You will. I agree with that. And the reality of Michael Todd is he is, you know, he is brutally strong. I mean, brutally strong. You know. So it's not like he's just pure endurance with no strength. He's stronger than Devin, in my opinion. I think the reason Devin beat Michael is because Devin is smart. He knew to blow up Michael's hand to get the advantage. Strength for strength, Michael is much stronger than Devin. But is he strong enough to deal with Pushkar? I don't know.
Well, you know what? I guess we're going to find out in a few weeks.
We're going to, yeah.
I mean, you know what? All in all, it's a pretty good card, top to bottom. So it's going to be a great evening of arm wrestling.
I am, I 100% agree. I am thrilled to death for every one of these matches. Every one of these matches.
It's going to be a show and a half, that's for sure.
Yeah, definitely.
Okay, so listen, I appreciate you taking a bit of time and talking to us.
Yep, absolutely, sir.
And
thanks for that, Bob. I, for one, can't wait for this one. It should be a great night of arm wrestling. Time to take another break, and here are a few words from this month's sponsors. Take it away. Hey, many thanks to our sponsors for supporting us and making this show possible. We would not be able to do this without them. Now let's move on to the message boards. A couple things caught my eyes on the message boards. First, there was actually a request for Crazy George Zakowicz to post a video showing whether or not he could actually straighten his arm. Sorry, but in my opinion, this is just laughable. What does George have to gain from posting a video? Nothing. That's right, nothing. And I can tell you this, if you don't already know, George doesn't check the message boards or any other message board. In fact, I don't think he checks the internet at all. George has and continues to let his record on the table speak for itself. So the chances of you getting a video are slim to none. Second, as usual, the steroid thread has popped up again. I read the same crap time and time again. What I don't like are the accusations about who is juicing, and that according to one post, 75% of all arm wrestlers are using steroids. Wow, I would love to see where the facts came from on that one. But whatever, that's for a different day. Oh yeah, and just off the top of my head, there is one new post on the board posted by Rob Vision Jr. that states why arm wrestle at all. Great post. I think everybody should read that thread. There's some really good points and opinions on that. Everybody should check that out. Anyway, early in December, Gary Roberts from ArmTV posted a video regarding the future of ArmTV. Now, was this just another membership drive, as some have suggested to me, or is there more to it? I talked with Gary to find out about this. You can check that out. Okay, joining us now is from ArmTV himself, Mr. Gary Roberts. Gary, thanks for joining the show.
What's up, buddy? How's the picture? You see me okay?
We can see you pretty good. You're moving. It's a little bit choppy, but it comes and goes. I think that's the nature of the internet, so
you know
what can you do?
I'm excited about having an interview where I don't have to answer the questions. I mean, I don't have to ask the questions.
Yeah, I was going to say, hold it. You do have to answer the questions.
Yeah,
so.
You ask. I'm excited to just sit here and have somebody else talk for once. Okay.
So listen, on the Northeast board, you just posted a new video, asking people you want the good news or the bad news. So I watched the video. I heard the good news. I want to get right to the bad news. The good news, I guess, is you dropped a bunch of weight. Tell everybody how much weight you've dropped.
You know, it was supposed to kind of be a tongue-in-cheek joke, you know, the good or bad. The good news is I feel amazing. You know, I've been for 8 years in ArmTV, and it kind of all comes down to the same point. Is I honestly, it cannot be said any clearer. I have put my business, I've put arm wrestling, I've put everything before my own personal health. I mean, that's a fact. Like, I didn't care about myself. I just, you know what, I worked, I ate whatever I want, and I worked some more, and I ate, and then I would try to spend time with family, and I just didn't, everything came before health, and it wasn't paying off.
Okay. So
this year,
you posted this video. So this year you posted this video stating that things were going to have to change, and one of the things that you said was going to change is something that you brought to ArmTV was the tagging of matches.
Yeah. Well, here's the thing. When Leach and I came up with the tagging idea, we really envisioned that as being I mean, we've come up with a lot of great ideas, and they've always started with, man, this would blow up membership. This will kill me. People will love this. And so, like the tagging and the matches, it really was a second job. I mean, the amount of time, it's not, in the old days, I'd edit a video, I'd encode it, I'd upload it, and I'd say, boom, the video's posted. Now, before the video even sees the website, I got to go through the timeline, and I was tagging matches, I was researching names. If I didn't know the competitors' names, I was looking up other videos of him. If I didn't know his spelling, I was looking up his spelling, and I was doing all this man-hours to get the thing tagged appropriately because I felt that that would build membership. I envisioned like Joe Blow coming to the website and searching his name and being able to go right to his match. And so I spent a lot of time, over 2 years, doing that. And the bottom line is what it did is it put me behind on other matches. It put me behind on editing. It put me behind on everything. And so this year when I said, you know what, I'm going to have to make a few changes, concentrate on my personal health, look for another potential job. And that, unfortunately, I'm still trying to tag the times, but as far as tagging individual matches, that's something that I wanted to just let people know. Everyone says, you talk too much. Why do you tell us so much information? I just want to let the arm wrestlers know where I'm at, where the situation is. And the fact is, I've been working 2 years tagging matches, and it didn't provide a return. And I can't afford to work 2 jobs for the same company, 3 jobs, 4 jobs. We probably have like 4 different jobs that I do. And that's one right away that I can think that I can definitely cut back and put my time in another department. So that's why.
Okay. So bottom line is, so from in the future from now, you're not going to be tagging matches for future events you tape. Is that correct?
I'm still trying to figure out how it's going to work. Like, maybe I only tag the professional matches. Maybe I let the novice and the amateurs tag themselves. I was being so anal about it being perfect that I was doing it. Right now, what I've been doing the last couple weeks is I've just tagged time codes. Even though I know who it is, I just tag time codes, unknown, trying to see if I could get that down. Ideally, maybe in the future, you know, I put up pro clips, tag those matches, and then I have amateur clips that I ignore the tags. Like that.
Okay, but you also had a system set up where, like, guys like Josh Hanlon would go on and tag matches for you. Is that still going to exist?
Yeah, right now I have it set up to where I put up a clip, I tag it, and then I click no new tags. The only thing that on all clips in the last 3 years, the only thing people can do is edit the tags. Because what I found was in all the older clips, they're wide open. Anybody can tag matches. And the bottom line is people were sloppy. They overlapped tags. They did the front tag, but they never did the end tag, and so the tag links didn't work. And it was just a really messy system. So if you try to do a search for old matches, it's sloppy. And I was trying to be more perfect than that. That's why I made it so they can only edit tags. But I'm like I was telling you off camera, in the next couple months with employment, things could change drastically for me. I won't know exactly how it's going to all fit together until it really happens.
Okay, I got 2 things I want to get to fairly quickly. So over the past month since you posted that video, I've received a couple of emails, a couple of PMs on the message board that says that this is nothing but a membership drive for Gary. His numbers are down. He's trying to get new members. How do you answer that?
I mean, the bottom line is our membership is down for 2 straight years. All I can tell guys is, hey, I'm looking for other jobs, and don't be surprised when I find another job and shit changes for the sport. I mean, I can only think about it like this. Like, let's say it's a relationship, and you know, my wife and I sometimes we have our down moments, and the other day I came home, I said, you know, I'm starting to look good. All these women are flirting with me, and then suddenly she starts being nicer to me because she thinks I got one foot out the door. And it's kind of like the same thing. Arm wrestlers I've been devoting 1,000% of my life to you guys for 8 years. Here's the facts. I got a foot out the door, and I'm looking for other jobs. And if I find another job, I cannot guarantee or promise that you're going to get the same kind of attention from me that you have gotten.
Okay, and now speaking of other jobs, you alluded to this in your video clip that you posted, and a little birdie whispered in my ear a few weeks ago that CrossFit may be one of those other jobs. You were doing some work for CrossFit. What can you tell us about your other opportunities?
Well, I can say that 3 months ago, I knew nothing about CrossFit. I only knew what I'd learned through Sevon or Travis, but I never paid attention as far as details. And I've kept a close relationship with Sevon. He helps me get in a CrossFit gym, and I've been training CrossFit for the for the past 3 months. I've lost another 50 pounds. Been getting to know the company and the system, and it's a slow process. I'm not exactly able to talk about all the details. All I know is that it looks like that could be a future working with CrossFit in some form or fashion. I can't say anything specifically yet because nothing's locked down. All I know is that I've been doing CrossFit myself, and I feel amazing now. And Travis always said, hey, well, you can work with CrossFit until you become a CrossFitter. So if you would ask me 3 months ago, are you a CrossFitter? I would say no. I would never even dream to think that I could be a CrossFitter. But now, I mean, I'm feeling amazing. I've lost another 50 pounds being in the gym. In the gym, I'm competitive. I'm doing some of the crazy workouts. I love arm wrestling, right? I love what I do. And when we have more members, it has enabled us to do more cool things. So I won't lie to tell people like, hey, yeah, if there's more members, we're going to do more cool stuff. And less members, we're going to do less cool stuff. Less members, less events. So I feel that in 8 years, I've done my best. I've applied every ounce of brain cells that I know how to grow on TV, and it hasn't really come to fruition like I'd hoped. So to just put out there, I'm going to stop begging for membership. I told the arm wrestlers everything. Hey, you can't do anything more than your actions. So now, just arm wrestlers, don't be surprised when you see me. Like, there's a very good chance a great event will come up. Well, here's the fact. CrossFit Games. If the Unified Nationals are on the same weekend as CrossFit Games, I'll be at the CrossFit Games, probably. So just, I mean, that's the simplest way to tell arm wrestlers is now when there's events coming on, like if CrossFit events overlap arm wrestling events, there's a good chance I'll try to have somebody else at the arm wrestling, but I wouldn't be there. I'd be working with CrossFit. That's my hope in the future.
Okay. Again, Gary, thanks for giving us a few minutes of your time.
Okay.
Thanks.
Thanks, buddy.
Some interesting stuff. Thanks, Gary. I appreciate you taking the time to talk with us. And finally, I know it's not on the message boards, but I wanted to bring to your attention a few things. First, new articles have been posted on the armwrestlinghistorychannel.com. Both Eric and Tomas are doing a fantastic job with that site, and I encourage everyone to have a look and read more about arm wrestling history. There are also some great photos and videos well worth checking out. Once again, that's www.armwrestlinghistorychannel.com. Also, a lot of new information has been posted on worldofarmwrestling.com. The crew has been very busy posting over the holiday season. New rankings, lots of World Championship videos, new ARM Bogdansky gear, I hope I'm pronouncing that correctly, and a whole lot more can be seen right there at worldofarmwrestling.com. And now that brings us time to look at the upcoming schedule for February. First up, February 4th, 2012, Michigan Arm Wrestling from Wings West in Kalamazoo, Michigan. February 11th, 2012, the Alabama State Arm Wrestling Championships from Blackjack Bar and Grill in Vestavia, Alabama. Hope I'm pronouncing that correctly. Also on February 11th, 2012, the UAL presents Black Bull Beatdown 2 at the Black Bull Chop House in Huntington Beach, California. Again on February 11th, 2012, the New Mexico State Arm Wrestling Championships held at Sneakers in Albuquerque, New Mexico. On February 18th, Atlantic Coast Sit-Down Arm Wrestling Championships. Check out the Northeast Board for more information on that tournament. Also on February 18th, Pond Town Tavern Arm Wrestling from Pond Town Tavern in Winthrop, Maine. February 25th, the Get a Grip Arm Wrestling Championships, also known as the Michael Griffin Memorial, in Albemarle Senior Center in Albemarle, North Carolina. February 25th, 2012, Clash on the Cape, Cape Coral, Florida. Also February 25th, 2012, Golden Horseshoe Arm Wrestling Championships at the Loaded Dog Sports Bar and Pub in Toronto, Ontario. And again on February 25th, 2012, the Golden Arm Championships. Now this is a tough one. Eskilstuna in Sweden. Boy, I bet you I just butchered that. Sorry, folks. Wow. That's all the info I could find for February. If you would like to write to us here at InFocus or help to sponsor an episode, our email address is scottmcguinness@hfx.eastlink.ca. That's all the time we have for this month. Thanks for joining us. I'm Scott McGuinness. Hope to see you next month, and we're out.